Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and gender nonconformists. I am the almightyzentaco, and today we're going to be learning how to recreate Asteroids, the game for the 1979 arcade machine, as well as the Atari 2600. So this is a tutorial you probably never asked for and do not want, but I do think it has some mechanics that you might find useful. So we are going to recreate this as quickly and efficiently as possible. If you don't know what Asteroids is, it's simply a game where you play as a spaceship and you shoot asteroids in a wrapping field where you can exit the right and appear on the left, exit the top and appear on the bottom, and vice versa, and the other way around. So, all right, let's get down to it. We are going to go ahead and make the background color black because it was simply a black screen. We're going to need some objects. We need the player. We need the asteroid. We need asteroid chunk. We need particles when the player is destroyed, and we need a bullet. All right, so I think that's everything. We're going to make these all be the blah 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 blah. Oh God, language. All right. So we're gonna make all of these part of the same group, object group, so we can do some code on all of them, because I don't feel like really doing programming all these separately, because they're gonna share similar attributes, such as they're gonna be able to wrap around the screen and they're gonna move with sub-pixel movement. So let's select them all and go to the qualifier. We're gonna edit and add a qualifier, and it doesn't really matter too much what this is. I'll just call it group 0. So these are all group 0. Alright, so this first active here is going to be the player. Now this is a recreation of an Atari game, so it's going to have really simple art. We're just going to make this a triangle. Now we want to kind of give it a shape like that so we can kind of see which direction it is facing. That's good enough. Alright, let's make sure the hotspot is centered there, and I want the action point at the end because that's where I'm going to be creating the bullets from. Okay, so that's that. This is going to be our asteroid. Our asteroid is going to be a little bigger. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to copy these frames over. We're going to give it 5 potential frames, and we're just going to have random animations. We're going to make sure that the animation speed is 0. So what we're going to do is when we create this, we are going to give it a random frame, and each frame is going to be a different asteroid. So this is how we are essentially going to create lots of potential asteroid shapes without having multiple objects. So keep that speed at 0, otherwise this will not work. Going to keep the same color, and here we go, making some really dumb looking asteroids. Now I don't know how many asteroid shapes there are in the original, but that's fine. This one kind of looks like a heart with all its chambers. I'm going to also give it some circles to make it look a little more asteroidy. Asteroidy. Is that a word? Asteroidy. If it's not a word, it should be a word. Alright. There's the asteroids. Perfect. So we've got the asteroids there. This one's gonna be the bullet. Now, I don't want this created at start or the bullet, so I'll select them both and unselect create at start, because we don't want them created at start. Throw that over there. This is my bullet. Did I name it bullet? I did name it bullet, so let's go ahead and delete that art and just make a little bullet. Not sure if that's what the bullets look like on asteroids, but whatever. Alright, so we had the bullet. Now we need the asteroid chunk. Also don't want to create this at start. And this is going to be our chunkity chunk. I'm going to make these all kind of the same. I don't think I'm going to... I'm not going to go ahead and make multiple animations because whatever, it's asteroids. We don't need to do this super in depth, but you could do that, and whenever you spawn these, you could also give it a random animation frame. I'm not going to do that though. This is called chunk. So like what happens is you destroy the big asteroid and you get the little asteroid chunks. And this last one here is particle. Particle man, doing the things that a particle can.
Particle man, doing the things a particle can. What's he like? It's not important. Particle man, is he a dot or is he a speck? When he's underwater, does he get wet? Or does the water get him instead? Nobody knows. Particle man.
Like nobody knows. Particle man. Alright, there we go. There's the particle. And again, the particle does not need to be created at start. Let's go ahead and save this as asteroids. Oh, it already exists. Well, now it's been replaced. Okay, so all of these things that are part of the qualifier group, did I make this particle part of the qualifier group? I think I did. This particle does not need to be part of the qualifier group 0. Let's go ahead and delete that off of there. Boom, bada boom. Okay, so grab everything that does need to be a part of it, which is everything but the particle, and we need to give them some alterable values. I think we need 4 of them, maybe 5. All right, we're gonna have an x speed value. We are gonna have a y speed value. We are going to have an x pos value. We are gonna have a y pos value, and finally we're gonna have a rot speed value. Let's get down to coding. Let's go ahead and insert a comment. And the comment is going to be init. This is when we initialize things. So we are going to do some start of frame stuff. Start frame. What are we going to do? We're going to create asteroids. So we are going to start a loop. I'm going to call it spawn stoids. We're going to run that a random 5 times plus 2. That'll give us between 5 and 7. Now we gotta do on loop, and that was spawn stoids. And what we're gonna do is create an object. That is gonna be the asteroid. We can create it anywhere because we are now going to give it a position. We are going to say alterable value. We're going to set its x pos to a random. Now this is the x position, so a random frame width, and we're going to set the y pos to a random frame height. So all we're doing there is, positioning this randomly around the frame. Now that's just setting the value of x pos and y pos. Later we will be setting the position of group 0 to the x pos y pos value. Also we want to give it a rotational speed. We'll make that a r random, -10 to 10. That might be a bit high. We will modify that later if it is. All right, so we have moved them around the screen and gave them a rotational speed. We also need to change their animation frame to a random 5. Is that how many we had? I think we had 5. Okay, so that should be the spawning of our asteroids. Let's find out if it worked. Oh yeah, derp. We didn't we didn't set their position. That'll be later. Let's do that now. We did have asteroids though, so we know it spawned. We'll just update positions here. So we're going to create an always event, and we are always, this is going to be for everything in group 0, because they all need to do the same thing. So we're not going to code it more than once. We don't need to code the object separately. We can just code the group. So what do we want to do? We want to always set the position, the x coordinate to the value of x pos. and the y coordinate to the value of y pos. It's very simple. Look at that. So x pos, y pos. So what this is we're doing something called subpixel movement. I do have a tutorial on this if this is a little confusing, but it's going to allow us to move these objects at a less than 1 pixel per cycle, which is not really something you can do strictly speaking. You can only move 1 pixel at a time, but it's going to create that illusion. All right, so set x position to x pos, y position to y pos. Let's run it again and see if they did update. Yep, there we go. Let's just keep spawning them. Okay, so there we go. Asteroids. Okie doke. So this needs to be in the center of the screen. And start a frame, we are going to set the value. We're going to set the alterable value of x pos and y pos for our player to its current x position and y position, so that when we get down here to line 5, he doesn't reset to 0. So go ahead and set x pos to his x coordinate and set the y pos to his y coordinate. Super easy. All right, so he should now be in place. Let's find out. Yep, he's there. Okay, so we are updating the positions. We also need to update the speed. I might do that in a different area. Let's go ahead and copy and paste this here, and we're going to add a new section. This is going to be inputs. So, oh yeah, I forgot about rotational speed. We can't do that to group 0 though, because we don't want the player to rotate by rotational speed. We want the player to rotate by controls. So we're going to go ahead here and under the asteroid on update positions, we are going to simply say set his angle. Where's that at? Set the angle to the current angle. And we're going to add the value of rot speed, the speed at which it rots or rotates. Let's see how that looks. All right, they're all spinning. They're spinning a bit fast though. I think the rotational speed needs to be adjusted. So where was that at? That was over here. We had -10 to 10. We're gonna make that like a -3. You know what though? This is only giving us the option of whole numbers. Let's go ahead and modify this so that it can be a float. So we'll say -300. And then we're going to multiply that by 0.01. That might not be quite right. Let's find out. Yeah, there we go. So now we are getting subpixel rotation as well. Okie dokie schmokies. Now we want to do the inputs. So that's going to be pretty easy. We're going to go to the keyboard, repeat while key is pressed left. Let's copy that. And edit this, repeat while key is pressed right. We're going to have 2 of these. So for left, we want to take our player and take his angle. So set the angle to his current angle. I believe left is, we're going to say plus. I think this, I get these confused. One for maximum quality. We're going to drag that down here and just modify the positive to the negative. Actually, let's just test it. Let me hold left and see what happens. Okay, that's right. So right is going to be -2. Yeah, it seems like a fairly good speed. Okay, now we want to allow the player to speed up. So the keyboard, repeat while key is pressed. That's going to be the up arrow. And what we're going to do is we are going to convert the angle into x and y velocity. So we're going to do that this way. We're going to set the alterable value of x speed to, grab the value of x speed, because we're going to be adding to this. And we are going to add, and this is going to be, I get this confused sometimes. It's sine of angle or cosine of angle. I think it's cosine of angle for the X, but this could be backwards. Just grab the angle from the object, close that off. Now, the problem with this is that it's going to be very, very fast, so we are going to need to modify this in a second, but I'm going to find out if I have this right first. So there we go. Just copy and paste this and edit it. Now we're going to do the Y speed, and it's going to be sine of angle. And make sure it's Y speed as well. So we're saying the Y speed to Y speed of the player plus sine of angle, and the X speed to the X speed of the player plus cosine of angle. Let's find out if I jack that up or not. It's not moving at all. It's not moving. So actually, oh, well, yeah, it's not moving. We don't have the, we're not modifying the direction based on, okay, anyway. So yeah, up here on update positions, we actually need to move group 0 by its X speed and Y speed. So let's do that now. We will say alterable value. Let's use this one. I like this better. Let's set the alterable value of X speed to, wait, hold on. Set X position. No, we need to update X position by X speed and Y position of Y by Y speed. Blah. So set X pos to the value of, grab X pos, and we are doing this for group 0, and we're going to add X speed, and we're going to do the same thing for Y. So where is it at? Retrieve X speed. Boom. So we have now modified the X position by X speed. Copy and paste this and edit because that is faster. Change this X pos to Y pos. Change all instances of X to Y, and we're done. Okay, so now we have updated the positioning of our group 0 objects. Okay, that's backwards. I forgot that that's backwards. So we do actually have the sine and cosine correct, it looks like. The problem is, where's it at? Here it goes. The problem is on the Y, you don't add the sine of angle, you subtract the sine of angle. Yep, perfect. Now it's just way too fast, so all we gotta do now is modify these. So we're going to take this, and we're going to divide it by like 20, not 520, 20. We're going to do the same thing here, putting a parentheses around this. I'm actually not 100% sure if that's necessary, but it does, you know, it helps me to logically parse out what I want to happen, to make sure that things happen in the order that I desire them. All right, there we go. So we got a pretty good movement here. All right. Update positions, we are also going to insert here on update positions. We are going to make sure that when we leave the screen that we come back on the other side. So insert I want to insert an event. A new line. Okay, so when group 0, check its position, compare its X position. When its X position is greater, so this is when we're leaving screen on the right. When its X position is greater than right X frame. No. I don't know. What is that called? Hold on. I don't remember how that goes. It's frame X coordinate of right visible edge. That's X right frame. Okay. So when we're greater than X right frame, meaning we've left on the right, then we want to set the position. But remember, the position is controlled by the alterable value X pos. So we want to set X pos to the value of X left frame. So when we leave right, we're going left. Copy this and edit it. When it's lower than X left frame, then we are setting the X pos to X right frame. Okay, copy this and paste it. We're gonna need to replace it entirely though, because this is going to be is the position compare the Y coordinate. If it is lower than Y top frame, because up is negative on the Y-axis, then we are setting Y pos to Y bottom frame, and vice versa. So if it is greater than Y bottom frame, Then we are setting the position to Y top frame. One thing I forgot to do, when we spawn these asteroids, we can give them a random X and Y speed. Let's go ahead and do that now. We'll set the X speed to an R random, negative 300 to 300 times 0.01, and we will do copy this and edit it, and then we're going to modify this for the Y speed and leave it the same. Let's find out if this works. Okay, they are all flying around the screen, and they are wrapping, and I am wrapping. So there we go. Woo! Might want to cap the speed though, because it can get ridiculous. Redonk. So that is a very smooth 360-degree movement we got going on, very floaty. Now all we need is to allow ourselves to destroy the asteroids and to be destroyed by the asteroids. Oh, we got a fire too. So that's going to be under inputs. So the keyboard, upon pressing a key, it's going to be space, we are going to create an object, and that is going to be the bullet relative to our player. Then we're going to set the bullet's position, or rather its alterable values of, we're going to set x pos to the x coordinate of the action point. Make sure that we are creating that object first though. We can't set the alterable values before we create. If we do that, it'll actually be probably messing with a different one. The fact that it's been created here means that anything on this line that modifies an alterable value of this object is for the object that has been created. We're gonna copy this and paste it. We're gonna set the Y position to the Y of action point, and we can just modify that X for a Y. So the position has been set. Now the thing about the movement of this is that it needs to be faster than the current speed of our player. We can't just give it an X and Y speed. It has to be the current speed of the player plus something. So we'll just do that this way.
20 minutes later.
Okie dokie. So I'm not the best at math, so I had to play around with this. So what we want to do is for the X speed and the Y speed of our bullet, we want to set it to, I'll just redo this. So take the X speed of the bullet and set it to the X speed of a player. Add the cosine of the angle of the player. So grab the angle. We want to multiply this by 10. Also, we're going to put this whole thing in parentheses. So we are setting the X speed of our bullet to the X speed of the player plus cosine of the angle of the player times 10. Now keep in mind this number here, this 10, we can modify. Actually, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and go on over to our player. And I'm going to add a new alterable value, and we're going to call it bullet speed. And we're going to set that to like 10. And then we can modify that, and what we're going to do is go in here, edit this, and we're going to multiply it by the value of bullet speed. That way we can easily modify this without having to dig in through our code. Alright, so now we want to set the Y speed. So we're setting the Y speed of the bullet to the Y speed of our player. We are subtracting parentheses sine parentheses, grab the angle of the player, multiply that by the value of, again, what was it? It was bullet speed, and we need a closed bracket. So I think that's right. See, it's not that hard. That looks pretty simple, right? Okay, Y speed of player minus sine of the angle of the player times the bullet speed. Boom. So if this is done correct, then we should have bullets that always move faster than the player in the direction he's facing, and we do. Now, we don't want a billion of these things all over the screen, so we probably want to destroy them when they leave the screen. Okay, this is going to be a little... I'm just going to go ahead and find out if it leaves the frame just like I did on these here. But you don't need to watch this. Essentially, we're going to find out if the X position is greater than X right frame, blah, 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 blah. So, position. Let's test and see if that works. There. Okay. So all we gotta do is copy these and set up some as well for the Y. So let's edit this. Compare Y position to a value. Is it lower than Y top frame? If so, destroy. And finally, it is it greater than Y bottom frame? All right, so that should work. Perfect. I didn't like all those bullets like going on forever. It was kind of distracting. Kind of got out of hand. Okay, so now we need to destroy these asteroids. I guess the asteroids need a health value, huh? Let's give them an HP value, and when we create them, we'll give them a random value. So that was up here. We're going to go to the asteroid, set the alterable value of HP to a R random. That's a random range. We're going to give it between 3 and 10. All right, new line here, or a new section rather. This is going to be destroy asteroids. So whenever our bullet overlaps an asteroid, we want to destroy the bullet. Probably play a sound effect, which I'm not going to do. And we want to subtract 1 from HP if HP is lower or equal to 0, meaning he is dead. We are going to create this object. It's going to be the chunk relative to the asteroid. We're going to give it a random rot speed, so that's our random, what did we say, negative 300 times 0.01. I think that was right. Make sure we create it first before modifying the alterable values. Then we are going to give it a random X and Y speed. That was the exact same thing, so go ahead and copy and paste and then change that to Y. So now they're going to move in random directions at random speeds. So that should be good. Right. And lastly, we want to destroy the asteroid. Let's test and see if it works. What's happening? Something weird's happening. What did I do? Oh, yeah, we need to give them, okay, we've created them, but the X and Y position is not been plugged in, initialized rather, so it's going to be initially 0, 0, which means they're going to move to the top left part of the screen. We can't let that happen. We want to go ahead and set the alterable value of X pos and Y pos to their X position and Y position. So grab the X coordinate for X pos, go ahead and copy and paste this and edit it. And for Y pos, set it to Y of chunk. So now it should be initialized. Why is it only creating 1? Did I only make it create 1? I did, didn't I? Well, that's silly. Why did I do that? Okay, so we're going to do something different. We're going to need to do a loop. Start the loop. Start the loop. Here, actually, copy this line 21 and paste it. Okay, so we can delete all of this. Keep the destroy event. We're going to insert a loop. So fast loop, start loop, and that is gen or spawn. I like gen. Gen's easier. Gen chunks. So generating chunks. We're going to do this a random 3 plus 2 times. And replace this condition with on loop. And the loop is gen chunks. Okay, so on gen chunks we're creating this and we're setting their position and everything. We don't need to destroy that on gen chunks because it's destroyed after the loop runs. This might actually not work properly, so we might have to do something to make it work. No, that worked. Yep, I was afraid something like that would happen. They all blew up and the chunks spawned from all of them. So we need to get the ID of this object. So we're going to do that this way. We're going to create a new global value. We're going to call this current asteroid. Okay, so let's see if this will work. HP equals 0. What we're going to do there, we're going to take the global value, we're going to set it, and that's the current asteroid, and we're going to grab the value, retrieve the fixed value for this asteroid. So what we've done is we have the current fixed value plugged in here. So we now can scope this. So on gen chunks, as well as compare, no, sorry, I messed it up. As well as we want to compare the fixed value of this object, the asteroid object, and make sure it's equal to that value, the global value, current asteroid. Now, I think that'll work. Let's find out. I should give these things less health for testing purposes. I'm actually going to do that real quick. I'm going to give these guys less health. Okay, so when we generated them, we gave them that. We're going to give them 2 HP. Hell, we'll give them 1 HP. Okay, so it works. Alright, so that does work perfectly. What do we want to do now? Well, we need to be able to kill the player if he gets hit, and we want to be able to destroy those little asteroid chunks as well. I gotta say, this is a little more complicated than I thought it would initially be. Alright, so we want to destroy asteroids. So we're going to do the same thing with the chunks. We'll find out if this overlaps another object, and that is going to be the chunks. And if that is the case, we're simply going to run a loop. And that's going to be spawn, I like gen better, gen particles. And we're going to do that a random 20 times. Then we're going to destroy the chunk. Oh yeah, before we run this loop too, we need to go ahead and plug in the value. So grab the chunk, or rather, sorry, we did it the wrong way. Set a global value, and that's going to be current asteroid. We can use that value, it's fine, because these will only be running one at a time. We'll get current asteroid, and we'll grab the value of the chunk, which is the fixed value. And then we need to actually spawn those things, so let's do that now. That's on loop. And that loop is called, what was it? It's gen particles. And all we're going to do, oh, we also need to find out if the fixed value equals current value. So find out if, compare the fixed value, does it equal the value of current, of the global value current asteroid? If it does, then we know we have scoped the appropriate one. That's red, so throw that on top so it's green. So now we have scoped it appropriately. All we gotta do now is create our particle relative to our asteroid. We need to give this thing some values. Give it x speed, a y speed, and a trans value. X speed, y speed, trans. So we're going to set its alterable value of x speed to our random negative 400 times 0.01. Copy and paste. Always make sure that you create it first, otherwise you'll be scoping the wrong object. Setting the y speed to the same thing. And then we just want to actually destroy this thing and make it transparent. So always gonna always add to the alterable value of trans. We're gonna add 2 to that. And then we're always going to set the semi-transparency, which is under effect, compatibility, set semi-transparency. We're gonna set the semi-transparency of these particles to their value of trans. So essentially we're making them transparent slowly. And then whenever they are over a certain value, we're going to destroy them so they don't clutter up RAM. So find out if trans is greater than 200. If so, simply destroy this object. Oh, and on this always event too, we need to update the position. We need to get these things sub-pixel movement as well. So I probably should just give them the type of, the easiest thing to do would be just to give them the type 0, and then they're going to be controlled by the 0 code. So I don't need to do that. So add 2 to trans, set semi-transparency. Yep. All we got to do then is when we create them, give them the random x speed and a y speed, and also set their value of x pos, y pos to current x position and y position. So well, if we do that, we got to make sure everything matches up. So that's no biggie. Let's find out what these are. They are, sorry guys, this is sloppy. X speed, y speed, x pos, y pos, rod speed. X speed, y speed, x pos, y pos, rod speed, trans. X speed, y speed, x pos, y pos, rod speed. X speed, y speed, x pos, y pos, rod speed, and trans. Okay, back to it. So we want to add 2 to trans. We need to modify that because we changed the order of the alterable values. Set semi-transparency to the value of trans. If trans is greater, then we destroy it. Okay, so x speed to random, that's good. Y speed to random, that's good. Last thing we needed to do, set the x pos and y pos values. So grab the value of x pos, set it to its x position, and do the same thing for y. Okay, I think that'll do it. Yep. Okay, pretty good. What do we want to do now? Well, we need to allow the player to be destroyed. Let's go ahead and give both of these objects another qualifier, the asteroid and the chunk. We're going to give them the enemies qualifier. We're going to make a new section here. Destroy ship. If the ship overlaps the enemies, then we're going to destroy it and run the particle loop. I don't feel like doing that again because you guys know how to do that, so we're just going to destroy it. But you can spawn the particles from this object the exact same way I did from the asteroid. But you just need to make sure the fixed value is actually aiming at the player. Or actually, we don't have to do that. Sorry. No, that's fine. Yeah, there's only one player. So if it's overlapping this, we'll destroy this. And we'll actually, here, spawn a new, do a new start loop. Gen particles player. Random 100. Make sure you type in the name of this correctly. Actually, I should have just done that. Plug that down there. No, don't move it. Copy and paste. And this is gen particles player, and we don't need to worry about the fixed value. And we are creating this from the player, not from the asteroid. And yep, everything should be fine. Let's find out. I just died initially, so. What the hell is it doing? It's a cool effect, but I don't know why it's exploding initially. On loop gen particles player. Player is overlapping the group enemies. But I'm not. Am I? Let's do a timer event just to see what's going on. Is timer greater than a certain value? 3 seconds. You got 3 seconds of invulnerability. I guess I was just always hitting someone at the beginning. Alright guys, so you know, it's not perfect, but it should be enough to get you started. And this is how you make a Asteroids clone for Clickteam Fusion 2.5. Hope you guys found this video interesting and educational. Sorry about the coughing in the background, that's my brother. He has no respect for videos. Yes, I hope you guys found this video educational. Any questions or comments, please leave them down below as always, and join my Discord channel. Great place to learn how to make games. If you have any videos, tutorials you would like me to make, please post your suggestion in my Discord channel, tutorial suggestions channel. Alright guys, thank you as always, and you have a fantastic day. If I don't see you around, have a happy holidays, enjoy your Thanksgiving. Peace out guys.